All right, everybody. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take those straps that we turned right side out, and we're actually going to put a finishing stitch, top stitch right on top. So we want it to look like this so that it looks beautiful. All right, so let's do that. You're going to sew about 1/8 of an inch. Notice I got really close to the edge right there. You don't want to put the seam in the middle. So we're going to sew really close to the edge, so about 1/8 of an inch. Go ahead and do that. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to line up your, this portion right here. This tells you, that little guide marker, it tells you where your needle is going to go. So what you're going to do is make sure your needle is positioned right at the tip of the fabric, and then you can actually start sewing. And that's how you're going to ensure that you get, you know, close to the edge. You don't have to back stitch here because these portions of the bag are going, these portions of the straps are being tucked into the bag. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we want to sew right down the edge on the other side. And if you know me from watching my other videos, you know I don't like to use my cutter. Okay, here we go. Same thing on the other side. All right, so this is how it looks. Look how pretty. Looks good. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the other strap. This right here with that fusible interface, the fusible fleece interface, it gives it such body. It's nice and it's thick, but it's to be comfortable when you're holding it, you know, or your mom, whoever you're going to make the bag for, but it's comfy. So imagine that on a tote bag. If you made your bags, if you made the bag, the dimensions larger and wider. So that's a comfy strap for the shoulder too. All right, so go ahead, do your other one. Side. I'm so used to brother machines, and now I have to reach in the back here for this singer, and I'm not used to it yet. This is actually my first sewing project with this machine, which is good because it has multiple layers, but I've used my brother, like all of my brothers, to do handbags multiple times with no problem. So So we have another pretty piece. Look at that. Looks gorgeous. I love it. Okay. All right. So now we can put this to the side. We can put the straps to the side, and let's go ahead and let's work on your lining piece. Okay. So what we're going to do right now, we want to close up this lining. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to sew from the top all the way down. You're going to make sure you back stitch when you're starting and stopping. Okay, so we're going to sew down here, then you're going to stop. you are not going to sew this square right here, okay? So you're going to take it out, and then you're going to sew from here across, well, sew from here to here. I'm going to pin it for the purpose of this video. Oh guys, I just got these at the Dollar Tree. Yes, Dollar Tree. These are great when you're doing thick projects. I'm clipping this right now just for you guys, because I don't normally clip stuff. So we're gonna sew up to right here. I want to leave a space like 3 to 4 fingers, okay? And then you're going to start sewing in that spot, okay? And then you're going to sew from here over, and you're going to make sure that you back stitch, okay, when you start and when you stop, okay? So I'm going to start here. Oh, and then we're going to go here down. So we want to sew all around from the left and the right side. Do not sew any part of that of those squares that we cut out, and then we're going to do the bottom up to these portions, okay? All right. And you're going to sew with 1/4 inch seam allowance, or to make it easier for you, just line up your fabric with the edge of your foot, okay, if you're not really good with dimensions. All right, guys. See, this is what happens. Real stuff happening in the middle of the video. My thread came out, so no problem. All right, here we go. I'm going forward now. Remember to back stitch. I'm going to remove this. When we get to the other side, I forgot, we got to put in our keychain, okay? So now I'm at the bottom, okay? We're going to close up the bottom. 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to remove this pin, remove this clip so that I can sew down a little bit more. And back stitch. Okay. I'm going to take this out. Remember, we want to leave a portion of that open. This is where we're going to turn our entire bag the right way. I'm going to take this out now, but I'm going to start sewing right about right here. Okay. And back stitch. And back stitch. Okay. I just figured out something I don't like about the Singer machine. The fact that I gotta push down on the lever for the back stitch. Okay, we're going to sew this portion down. We're gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna sew down, but then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna stop before I get to the top. And what I want to do is we're going to put this inside. We're going to put the keychain inside of the bag, because you always want your raw edges outside. Okay, so we want to leave the tab out a little bit. The reason that this is looking diagonal is because inside of the bag, we don't want the keychain to sit like this, because in your bag, this is how it will look. I like it so that it naturally falls in the bag down. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so you see, it's going to hang here. Okay, this is why we put it in on an angle so that it goes down. Okay, so this is the pretty side of your lining. This is the pretty side of your lining. Okay, putting in the pretty, meaning your finished keychain portion, stick that inside. Close it. Okay, you can pin it or clamp it, whatever you need to do. Okay, so we're going to start sewing down here, and we're going to continue sewing. When you get to that keychain area, go over it, you know, once or twice, you know, back stitch over it, and then continue forward, you know, for the remainder until you get to the top. Okay, here we go. All right. Remember the back stitch? Going forward. I'm just going to take off my clip. I'm holding on to the keychain portion right there. I'm just holding it. Okay, and now here it is where I'm coming up to it. You might feel like it's hard to push underneath your foot. Don't worry, you can do it. Go ahead and push it under. And then I'm back stitching, so I'm going back because you want to make sure that you apply a few extra stitches to it because keys will be hanging. You just don't want it to, you just want it to be strong, okay? Okay, I'm back at the top. Back, okay. All right. I have a habit that I really love to put extra stitching in, you know, certain things if I know that weight is going to be on it so it doesn't tear the stitches. Okay, so right now, so you're going to open up that bag. You see, this is the inside portion of your, this is the liner portion, and you can see now that the keychain is in, okay? Looking nice and pretty. You see that? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the boxed portions, okay? Snip off those end pieces if you need to, those stragglies, okay? You won't see this. This is going to be inside of the bag, so you won't see it, but okay. So now what I want you to do, if you put your hand inside of the bag, you can see the formation of the square. So you see it looks like that, but look, when I go like this, and all I'm doing is moving my hands inside of here, you see this? It takes the formation of the flat part of the bag, you see? Okay, so I'm going to put my seams together, okay? Let's look at it from the inside. So you see here, my seams are lined up, they're lined up. That's what we want, okay? So go ahead and sew this right across 1/4 of an inch. We wanna close up that square so it gives us that boxed bottom. Okay. I stepped down too fast, guys. And where is it? It popped up. And so I have to rethread. On the brother video that I did with the unboxing. Funny, a lot of people during the quarantine got sewing machines, and everybody was like, how do I thread the bobbin? So I actually did a video on that. If you need to see it again, you can check it out. All right, so now I'm just making sure my seams are still lined up. Okay. All right. See, stuff happens when you're sewing. All right, remember to back stitch? Okay, remember, things are going in this bag. And somebody, if they're like me, they're going to carry their life in the bag. So you want to put extra stitches. Okay. You ever, once you do start sewing, you're going to have a habit of really checking out seams in bags, and you're going to check out the stitching, and you're going to be amazed at things that like that come from China and that are like, you know, made very quickly, and you're going to start to realize quality. All right, so go ahead and let's do the same thing for the other side. You know, make sure get those ends together, those boxed ends, put them together, flatten them out. Okay, and here we go, lining up those seams. This is going to be important because you want to make sure that the bottom of your bag, you see this? Look at this. My seams line up with the sides of my bag, and look at how they just flawlessly go right into each other. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, so they're together. And here's the other thing. If you look at this right here, notice which way your seam is facing, right? So make sure that when you do this part, see right here, and I just noticed it, I'm going to turn my seam that way so that my seams are facing the same way. Otherwise, it creates a bulk, and you don't want that. Okay, so right now, you see, now my seams are facing the same way. So because that one is that way, make sure this seam is facing the opposite way. Okay, all right, there we are. Once you start sewing layers together, yeah, you want to make sure you know, do that. All right, and remember the back stitch. I'm going over that bottom again, and again, like I said, when a back stitch, just to give it some extra stitching. That's the middle of the bag. And you did not lose anything but probably 1 second by giving it an extra stitch over the middle of the bag so that you don't get a hole in the bag. So, okay. All right. So, all right. So we're not going to see all of this. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's set this to the side. Okay. And now what we want to do is get your outer pieces. All right. My top, this is going to drive me crazy. Don't you guys worry. Hold on. I'm cutting off the little bit extra of interface just because I don't, yeah, it'll drive me crazy. All right. So now what we want to do, just get one piece of your outer. Okay. With that one piece of the outer, what we want to do is fold it in half. We want to find the middle of your bag again. Okay, so fold your bag over. Do a little press. And now what we're going to do, we're going to, it'll seem like it seems difficult, but it's not. I can see the middle part of the bag right here. It might be hard for you just because of my print. Yeah, I chose a difficult print. Okay, I'm finger pressing, all right? That's where we are going to end up putting the pocket. But let's do something first. Grab your pocket, grab one of the pockets, and what we're gonna do is we're going to put a top stitch across the top of the fabric, okay? Across the top. Okay, what we want to do is we want to go close to this line so that we close that up. Okay, all right, so as close to, put your needle mark as close to the edge of the fabric here that you can. So now we have the outside of the pocket. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to fold your pocket in half. That's going to help you find the middle of your pocket. Make sure when you sew the pocket, the top part, that you know it's the top part. It's the part that we folded over, not the bottom with the raw edges there, with the raw edge there. Okay, so what we're going to do now, that line for the middle, so we know where the middle of our pocket is, and we know where the middle of our bag is. All right, so now we want to measure down 3 inches, 3.5. All right, the ruler is clear, so I'm going to use this yellow so that you can see it. So here's the middle of the bag, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to measure down about 3.5 inches, right? So remember that clasp on the inside is at 2 inches, all right? So the pocket can be down anywhere you want to, you decide. But here's something to keep in mind, which is why I put it somewhere between 3.5 and 4. It's because, so you see this right here? So that's almost 3.5. I know it's 3.5 because there's the seam allowance inside. But here's the thing. The size of the pocket, when we fold the boxed bottoms, it's going to give us just a little bit of room at the bottom. High pockets don't look good. We want the pockets to be big enough on the bag where you can actually put like a phone or something in the pocket. So you don't want a tiny pocket, but it means we need to leave room at the bottom to form the box on the main part. Okay, so that's why I work with 3.5 inches. So we're going to take the pocket, the folded portion, and we're going to put it at the 3.5 mark. Okay, And then I know, like, oh, that's the middle right there. Okay, now if you look right here, this is the part, remember when we did the lining? This is how we know this is going to be the bottom of the bag. Because if I were to put this together right now, I could see the pocket is going to reach down to almost the bottom, which is what I just showed you. Okay, so you play with it. If you want to lift it 1/4 of an inch, you know, then you can do that. Okay, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have them positioned in the same place on both sides. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin, oh, here's the other thing. This is a good way for you to know also. So you see, I folded the bag in half so that I know that we get the same measurement on both sides. So that's both sides. So that's almost 3. That's perfect. That's great. All right. Let's see. All right. So go ahead and pin your pocket. You can pin it here. And I'm going, that's a bent one. Okay. And I'm going to pin this here. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to sew. This is why we like to cut stragglies, because we don't want them on the outside of our bag. We're going to sew all the way down, and you're going to sew close to the edge, the same way you did when you did the straps. You went close to the edge. We're going to sew close to the edge, all the way down, all the way across the bottom, and all the way back up the top. Okay, so let's do that. Stick the whole thing under. All right, here we go. And I know I'm at the edge of my pocket because I can see where my needle is going to go right here. I can see it. Okay, here we go. Remember to back stitch. We put things in our pocket all day long. In, out, we pull our pocket, so you want to make sure that you back stitch. I like to back stitch like 2 times here. Okay. Make sure you're using nice coordinating thread. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to turn this. I'm still getting used to my singer. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to turn. Back stitching. Okay, now I'm going to turn. All right. Now this will come out. Okay, we can take this out now. What I like to do in the inside pocket sometimes, I sew another stitch line inside on the inside pocket, because this way if you want to put pens or something, you have a divided pocket. And if you want to do that, then you just fold the pocket. You can fold it one more time if you want to do that for the outside. Fold it again and create, you know, like a pressed edge, and then you can just sew down the line again. That'll help you sew a straight line, okay, if you want to put a divided pocket outside. But I'm not going to do that. That's if you want to. So let's do the same thing to the other bag, to the other one. Okay, fold this in half. Okay, folding it. Where's that line? The animal print, let's see, raw. Okay, now get another pocket. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here. We need to sew the top part of the pocket. Okay, so that we have a nice clean Ah, boy, did it come out again? It came out again. Where is it? All right. As you all know, because I'm sure you've been sewing, you know, stuff happens. Rare. All right. Funny because on my Facebook group, I tend to, I don't know if you've joined it. It's called Sewing Made Easy with Nikki. I go over little daily issues like that, little daily problems. You know, they just happen when you're sewing. So join the group if you didn't. All right, here we go. Back stitch. Alright, here we go. We got the back done again. Cut off the stragglies. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold here. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Okay, so I know that's the middle. And again, I want to make sure that I know that the pocket is in the same place as the other one. So, oh, you see, I put that higher than 3. We're going to move this down so we know it's at the same spot as the other one. 3.5. There we go. And then I think I moved it up a tad bit. Okay, so pin, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to sew around the outsides. You'll get faster at this. You know, we're just going slow. I can sew one of these bags in 45 minutes, but again, I've done probably around 50 of them already. All right, I'm at the edge, and there we go, back stitch. I'm learning this machine. There we go. I gotta learn the distance on the machine for my needle to stay down on this singer. Yay! Pivot and turn. And I need the back stitch. All right. All right. So now, again, if you want to do a divided pocket, you can do a divided pocket. I am not going to do a divided pocket. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to put these two pieces together. Put these two pieces together. Okay. Put them together. Okay. They line up. They look great. Okay. Okay. All right, and we're going to pin in different places here. This is going to be a little bit thicker going underneath, okay? And so what we're going to do now, putting it in, we're going to sew all the way down, okay? We're not going to sew, oh, my square, what happened there? We're going to sew all the way down. Okay, and when we sew all the way down this way, we're going to take it out, and then we're going to sew all the way across. You do not leave an opening here. We're going to sew all the way across, take it out, and then you're going to sew all the way down this portion. Remember to back stitch. Okay, this is shifting, it's moving. Okay, here we go. stitching. And now I'm removing it. And now I'm going to do the bottom piece. Again. Okay. So this normally happens if you step too hard on your pedal foot, or if you start sewing fast. You know, like if you put too much pressure or speed. Rare. Okay. Okay. This pedal is powerful. Okay, here we go. And back stitch. We're closing this whole thing up because we're not going to do anything with the outside. We're going to turn the bag right side out using the lining piece. So we want to make sure we sew all the way across right here. Back stitching. Lift my needle. And we're at that final piece right here, so we want to make sure we back stitch and go down the final end. If you wanted to, later on, what you can do is you can create a tiny tab if you wanted something to like hook, I don't know, hook your umbrella on or a water bottle. And the same way that we did an insert for the keychain, you could actually put a skinny little tab right inside on either side of your bag before you close it up. You know, for, you know, like a hook that you can, you know, put a water bottle or attach a sunglass case onto. Okay, so you want to do that before you close up the outsides. I'm getting to the end and I'm gonna back stitch. Okay. All right. Removing those pins. Okay, there we go. Let's now prepare this the same way we did the lining piece. Okay, we're gonna squeeze this together. You wanna make sure that your seams meet up together. Okay, seams meet up together. Make sure that, make sure that whichever way this seam is facing, this seam faces the opposite way. Okay, what I love is that the bag is not slipping, it's holding itself because this fusible fleece here, it gives the bag this, it gives it the thickness and the form. All right, I am back stitching. This is the outside of your bag, so make sure that you take the time and extra love and back stitch in places. So I'm going over the bottom part. I back stitch over the bottom part again. Okay. All right. So you'll realize that one day when you start doing totes, that you want to make sure that you give it some extra love. Okay, let's do the same thing on this side. Okay, all we're doing, we're squeezing that together right there. Okay, my end pieces or my seams inside, they're lined up perfectly. We want to check and make sure which way the seam is going. This seam is going that way, so I need to push that way instead and make sure that's the opposite way. All right, and back stitching. Back stitch. All right. Okay. we're not going to see that, so I shouldn't even bother with it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, so the bag is there, okay? All right, we want to take this lining part. Guys, I got to tell you something. I forgot to put the pocket on the inside. So if you watch the video first, then put the pocket the same way we did with the outside of the bag. Oh man. Stick the pocket the same way we did with the outer piece and put it inside, you know, and you're going to sew pretty side, you know, you're going to sew a pretty side up and then sew, you know, around the bag. Okay, I'll do this later on, but, you know, sew around the bag, okay, around the edge of the pocket. So this one is just not going to have an inside pocket, my bad. So, all right. So what we're going to do here, okay, is now we're going to put the pretty sides together. The bag is here, the inside of the bag. We want to turn the lining piece so that the pretty side will touch the pretty side inside. Okay, this is the pretty side, the good side, okay? Inside the pretty side. All right, stick that keychain portion in there, okay? All right, get it down in there. Okay, what I want you to do is take your seams, match up your seams so that the seams align with each other. Okay, so you see that? Make sure they align with each other. And you're going to pin it. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Pretty side, pretty seam to pretty seam. Put it in there. All right, don't worry about those stragglies. Okay, and you're going to pin it. All right, so right now, what I want you to do is put the bag flat to you. Make sure you line up your top and your bottom. Okay, and they're lined up. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the straps. This is almost, you know, you're almost done now. Okay, here are the straps. We want to take the strap and we want to slightly bend it, okay, so that this curve is facing up. Okay, we're going to stick it in between the outer fabric and the lining. These are both the pretty sides. We're going to stick this right underneath, right inside of there, okay, so that the pretty side will touch the pretty side. The pretty side of the strap will touch the pretty side of the bag. Okay, stick it in there. We want to make sure that we leave some out. Okay, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. 2.5 inches is a really good distance. Okay, so let's see. Oh, you see I naturally did it. See, I just do it. So you see that 2.5. Okay, really good distance. Sometimes I get the measurements good, right on key, on spot, because after doing so many, I can just eyeball it. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that these are lined up together. We're going to pin. Okay, do the same thing with the other side. We want 2.5 inches. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, 2.5. See, 2.5 from the seam line, and there we are at 2.5 right there. So, all right, notice I have a little portion sticking out. Okay, 2.5. That's going to be important when you do the other side. All right, so here we go. I'm making sure I'm holding on to it. These are lined up. Okay, and I am pinning. All right, now you want to flip the bag over, and it's better to put the other strap in now than to wait, so at least this way you know you get them even. Okay, so we're going to bend the strap. Okay, we're going to stick it inside, remember, in between that pretty lining, and the pretty outer fabric, the right sides of it. Okay, you don't have to measure for this one because guess what? We're just putting it right on top. We're lining it up with the other one, and we're going to make sure that they have both the same side, the same amount left out. Okay, so this way you know that when you flip it right side out, that your handles, you know that your handles are going to be even with each other. Okay, that's important because the piece that we're leaving out right here, it's down here, but you want to make sure that the handbags are, the straps are even. Okay, so that's why we want to make sure that we leave the same amount out. You don't want uneven straps. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this, and we also want to make sure that we put it on top of each other so we know it's the right distance from the seam of the bag. Okay, you don't want to strap in the middle of the bag. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, last side of the strap, and then we're going to close this up. Okay, lining up that strap. Okay, it's even. Yep, it's even. All right. Okay. To do the bag right, you have to know some other things first. This is why straight lines are so important. All right. All right. So now we're ready to close this up. Okay. So what we're going to do, you're going to start at your seam. Okay. Start at your seam on any side. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around the bag. All the way around, okay, until you get back to the part that we started at. Okay, so you're gonna leave 1/4 of an inch. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. You're basically reinforcing the straps right now and closing up the bag. Okay, so what you might want to do is take off the portion of your machine. What you're using, you would just want to use the arm. Okay, so the arm is going to allow you to turn it easily. So if you have the brothers, you know, then just take off the portion that slides out, you know, that has your little sewing kit part in it. Okay, and put the body of the bag. So here's the bottom of the bag. You want to put it onto, basically onto the cuff, onto this machine here, almost like you're cuffing it. Okay, all right, check which way your seams are going on the bag here. You want to make sure that your seams are folded the right way. Okay, so in this case I'm doing right. All right, and where's my thread again? This is probably the first time this has happened in a video. So many times, like why? All right, here we go. I'm removing my pin. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm starting at that seam. I'm going to back stitch to start, and now I'm going forward. Now here's the trick. If you put your hand here for the bag, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to turn this as you sew, because it's going to force your bag that way, okay, because it's already sewn those portions. But if you put your hand here, you'll be able to guide your bag to turn as you sew. Okay, here we go. Watch this. So all I'm doing is, look, I'm pulling the bag. I'm going to remove my pin. Grab the strap. I'm going to go back, reinforcing the strap. Okay, I'm going to make sure my bag is still together. My lining piece is still lined up. Okay, going forward. Okay, everything is still together. Remove the pin. Holding on that strap, make sure you don't move it. I'm gonna back stitch. Okay, I'm turning the bag from the bottom down here. I'm turning it. Okay, this way I'm not pulling. Okay, almost, we're at the seam. Check and make sure your seams are the right way. See right now, my seams are not the right way right now. So you see this right here? I'm gonna turn that over so that it goes the right way. Remove my pin. I'm gonna back stitch over the seam. All right, do it guys so that your seams don't rip. That took not even 2 seconds. Bring over the strap. I'm almost back at the beginning. Okay, removing this pin. If you get to your machine and if you're having a hard time with it, push the black button on your presser foot on your brother, or depending on what foot you have, or you can sew with your walking foot. You know, take the presser foot off and sew with your walking foot. That'll help you get through the layers. But I've done these bags many times with my brothers and never had a problem. And I never changed my foot either. All right, I'm almost back at the front, at back where I started. I am back now, okay? All right, here we go. So now, I'm going to take this out. All right. Now, guys, I cannot believe I forgot the extra pocket inside for you guys. What I like to do also sometimes, put a little zigzag. So, you know, you carry a lot of things in your bag. If you did not backstitch back and forth over it, go ahead and put additional stitches here inside. You will not see the extra stitches, don't worry, but I backstitch, so I'm not going to. But if you didn't backstitch, if you just kept on going, I want you to go back to your bag and at the, because if you learn this now, when you do tote bags, you know, you ever had a handle that popped, you don't want that. So give it some extra stitches right above, you know, right above the bag, above the stitch line. Okay, so if you have a light colored lining, you want to make sure that you actually, you know, cut your stragglies, cut a little bit, you know, because you're going to see it through the bag, through the lining color. If you chose like a white lining, or maybe like a, you know, like a light gray. Okay, I cut these now because we don't need all of it anymore. You know, I just like to keep a little bit for the extra strength when we flip it around and do the top stitch. All right, so now go into the bag, okay, and here is that open portion that we left. Okay, put your hand inside, turn it, stick your bottom of the bag, stick it in there, and let's pull it all the right way. Pull it all. Okay. Pull it all out. Don't worry, it will go. Okay. At this point, also, what we're going to do, so as soon as you pull it through, put your iron on, guys. So, because we're going to top stitch the bag, but before we top stitch, because this is the final step, what we're going to do, okay, so put your finger in there. We want to poke out the bag here, poke it out, get it all down. Okay, let's close up that hole. All right, close up the hole. Let's sew a straight line, 1/8 of an inch, to close up that hole there. Okay. And make sure that, just check it and make sure that it's lined up together. Okay, so that you know that your lining pieces will meet each other. I'm gonna stick everything back inside of here. Stick everything back inside of here. Okay. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna close this clasp. The reason we want to put a top stitch, remember when we left that little bit of strap right here? What we're going to do is we're going to reinforce this by putting a top stitch. Top stitching makes the bag look good, guys. We're going to reinforce the strap from this side. See, the strap is here. We're going to reinforce it by top stitching all the way around, and it's going to make the bag look good. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to snap this here. All right, and what will make it a lot easier for you to do, you know, in order to make sure that you get a nice top stitch is, see how I'm smoothing this out. I want to smooth it out so I make sure that I get the lining fabric down flat inside. I'm gonna put the iron over it to help me out, because it flattens it, it heats it, makes it easy to go through the machine. Okay, I'm gonna turn that around, and we want to make sure that this is down. So put your hand inside, tuck it down. This is looking good. I'm so mad I forgot the pocket inside. So if you guys watch the video before you do it, just make sure that you put the pocket on the inside. It's the same way that we did it on the outside. So, all right, now open that back up. So let's start at the seam. We always want to start at the seam. Guys, look, see, this is what I was telling you about the seams. You want to make sure, you see that? Look at that. Look how they line up. This is why I don't like doing the triangle for the box, because I like to make sure that my seams line up perfectly together. All right, this is going to be the very last thing you do on this bag. All right, put it in there, tuck it underneath, make sure that your lining is not sticking up. Okay, here we go, starting, and now going all the way around. Back stitch. All right, you will see this top stitch. Make sure you do it. Take your time. I am lining up my foot with the edge of this fabric here, lining it up. That way I know I'm going to get the same line around, the same distance, but not only that, it's going to reinforce that strap that's inside. I know that foot is going to go right over it to reinforce the strap. Okay. This is the last thing we're doing on the bag, guys. All right. Today is also the first time that I'm sewing standing up. Haha. I'm moving the bag as I go around. Here is that magnetic clasp in there, and I know where it is because remember I told you I like to have 1 inch left inside of the bag, so I know where it is. I can feel it. We're almost back to the beginning. Here we are right here. Making sure that that lining is pushed down. And I met right back up with the same line. Okay. Excellent. And guess what? We're done. And this was our very first project, our longest project that we have done. Yay. All right, we need to, that's all, guys. We have a completed bag. All right, guys, so here is the final product that you just created. You know, I hope you chose a pretty cool pattern. You have your pockets outside. Remember that little hook I was talking about? You can have a hook outside, you know, for if you want to put on attach a water bottle holder or something. You know, you have your keychain inside. You could even watch one of the other videos that I've done if you've watched any of the other ones, and you can do a coin purse. You know, you'll have scraps left over. So if you haven't seen the coin purse video, go ahead and watch the coin purse and do that one. It's always nice to have coordinating pieces. So if you have questions, go onto my Facebook group. Go onto it's Sewing Made Easy with Nikki. You can find it on Facebook. You can get the link down from below. You can also find the link down below for my Instagram and other ways that you can connect with me. Yeah, leave your comments below. Let me know if you have any questions or something like that. And I'm going to see you guys on the next video. All right. So thanks for sewing with me. I'll see you soon. Bye.